श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री गोपाल की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are continuing our Upadeshamrita. Okay, we read the translation first. Someone can read?
O revered Vaishnava Thakura, O ocean of mercy, please be merciful to me, your humble servant. Purify me by giving the shade of your lotus feet. Your feet I clasp submissively. Please help me to control the six urges. Purify me of the six faults, and please instill in your servant the six good qualities. O bestow upon me the six kinds of holy association. I am seated here in the hope of having your company. On my own, I find I have no strength to chant the holy name of Lord Hari. Please be merciful by awarding me with the particle of faith and giving me the great treasure of the Krishna is your holy name of Krishna. Krishna is your, therefore you are able to give him to others. This is certainly within your power. I am indeed wretched and fallen, simply running after you, crying Krishna, Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. So we are in the 11th verse of Nectar of Instruction, last verse. We discussed yesterday the translation and the purport of the theme of the purport. Theme of the purport where we discussed the exalted nature of Bhakti. Though it is sometimes glorified in terms of what we understand as an exaggeration or overestimation, but Prabhupada mentioning in the Nectar of Devotion, chapter 13, we read to prepare us how it is that to turn our face from the material futile attempts to enjoy the material beauty towards eternal reality. Material beauty to eternal reality. Prabhupada mentioning there all the stories, all the different incidents or situations that have happened actually. And it may appear to the human mind as an exaggeration. Just like here also, If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused. And in our lives also, definitely some of you might have taken bath, or at least seen somebody has taken bath, and we don't see that they are not having any kinds of symptoms of love just after coming out of the water. They are not crying Krishna, Krishna, or nor exhibiting any kinds of activities also in terms of when we have pure love, the activities are different. The symptoms, I think you will read in NOD when we come to Bhava, Bhakti, etc. The symptoms are explained. You might have heard 9 symptoms. Namagane, Sadaruchi, Virakti, Manashunyata. There are 9 symptoms given when one comes to Bhava Bhakti. What to speak of Prema. So that we may not be able to see in ourselves or in others. So one may question whether these statements are actually true. So for that, Prabhupada clarified yesterday that we have read. This is true, but may not be applied to all the cases. May not be applied to all the cases. But they are meant to turn our face, at least give an indication that these things are actual reality. And definitely by Krishna's grace, we can also experience one day by simply and sincerely following the rules and regulations of the first verses and first part of the NOI. So this book is very much giving a starting point to the most exalted positions, starting from controlling the senses, Vacho Vegam, Manasakrodha Vegam, starting from there to the ultimate achievement, Sampatti Dasha, achieving our own perfection, Swarupa Siddhi. But though it's spoken in 11 verses, but the application is so profound, and also we strive to go ahead little by little. Yeah, so just to continuing understanding of taking bath once, we have seen examples of taking Narottam Das Thakur bathing in the Padma River and fully drowned in ecstasy of love. Also chanting one-time mantra. Today we are going to discuss Eka Krishna Nam, that is Sarvanardhanash. Just chanting one name of Krishna, hearing one name of Krishna, or taking one time Mahaprasad, seeing once Krishna on the banks of Yamuna. So all these are all anything that is the Bhakti elements, the slightest attachment to those things can give us the ultimate perfection. That's what the Shastri statements. All the Bhakti limbs. And what also you'll read more about this one, especially the Bhakti elements, 64 limbs, and the details of the most important limbs, 5 limbs. When we come in touch with these 5, even slightest way, there is upliftment of a spiritual change, spiritual advancement will be there in a tangible way. That we will understand in NOD when you read NOD. But the main point was we continue with taking the exalted nature of Bhakti. By taking inspiration from all the stories, we continue our sadhana Bhakti. So they are giving us more inspiration. Yes.
Prabhu, taking bath in Radha Kund is not rather encouraged, na Prabhu?
Yeah, last time we discussed this point on 2-3 pastimes Prabhupada mentioning. Were you there?
Yes, I was there.
Were you there?
Yes.
Yeah, that time we discussed. Prabhupada
Ah,
not
yes,
banned.
correct, correct.
Prabhupada didn't ban taking bath, but in that circumstances he cautioned that we need to be very careful and cautious, and without any kind of frivolous nature, we try to reverentially we can take bath. But the consciousness has to be extremely pure, extremely grave and devotional. So in that way, we need to hear about the glory of the Radhakund, hear about glory of Vrindavan. That's what when we hear and when we go there, then we can act properly.
Right, right.
So without hearing, without proper mood and attention, then the consciousness will be more of a frivolous nature. Then we may not get the advantage of going there. So it's not banned by Prabhupada, but it's very much restricted in terms of because we don't have proper consciousness to approach the proper way. That was the main point. But yeah, devotees, we see that those who are taken to Yatra, those who are very much in a proper consciousness and guidance, and carefully and consciously and devotionally praying to Mother Radharani, praying to Krishna, and praying to all the acharyas, you can take path. There is no ban on ISKCON devotees. There is no ban is written there. So yeah, definitely. Generally, it's recommended to take Achman to in especially Radhakund. But definitely, we are very much eager and enthusiastic and under guidance, under permission, we can take bath. Okay, so we are discussing about the potency of limbs. Sakrit, even once, even slightest. So these are not exaggeration, not overestimations, but to just turn our attention from material beauty to eternal reality. Also taking bath. We are taking bath and we can take bath every day. Generally, we take bath with water every day morning. That itself, water has such a sattva, the element of water, that it immediately brings out from mode of ignorance. That's why we are every day experiencing. The moment we get up, we are not so enthusiastic. We are a little bit lazy. Our body is tired. Our body is not moving very actively. But the moment we come in touch with water and take bath and become fresh, then we can immediately see the change in the consciousness, in the body, the mind. There's a lot of freshness, a lot of we come to the mode of goodness immediately, at least for some time. So that is the even normal water that has the potency.
Correct, bro. That normal water, na, one of the lectures I heard, they said that we can chant that shloka, Gange Yamune Cheva Godavari Saraswati, Narmada
Yeah.
Sindhu Kaveri Jalasmi Sannidhi. So we are inviting water from all the rivers.
Thank you for sharing. I'm just coming to that point.
Sorry, Prabhu?
Yeah, I was just coming to that point.
Acha, acha. Okay, okay.
Thank you for your enthusiasm and reminding.
Okay.
Yeah. So normal water has normal water has that much capacity. Even in cities, we can see the effect on the body. What to speak of when we go to natural bodies of water in terms of pure water, Haridwar, or any place where there is a natural flow of water, very cool and sacred and crystal clear water. If we take bath there, the effect is double or the effect is much more than the where we are taking baths in cities, etc. Because the water sattva element is very high, very high. Then what to speak of the spiritually potent waters? So that's how we can see the effects of water on our consciousness also. on this, on our consciousness, on our external body also, external, internal, and that even at the spiritual consciousness level also. At all levels, we can see the effects by coming in touch water with water, normal, ordinary waters, or even pure waters, materially pure waters, like Haridwar, and as you go towards near Ganga, or the source of Ganga, or a source of Yamuna, like water is so crystal clear and so pure, so transparent. So that also has a very high sattva guna, sattva element. Then what to speak of spiritually surcharged waters, like all these kunds, Sadha Kund, Champ, and even any dham, any holy ponds. So that will have definitely effects on our at all levels. That's why we can invite or invoke the presence of all these waters by mantras. We are begging the waters to come and reside so that I'll be purified externally and internally, and so that we can be engaged in Krishna service. So the mantras are as spoken, as said by Prabhuji, Suryavanshi Prabhu. So we can recite the mantras, or we can remember the holy dhams like this: Radha Kund, Sham Kund, Manasi Ganga, Govinda Kund, Kusum Sarovar, Manasi Ganga, Govinda Kund, Surabhi Kund, Uddhava Kund. All these kunds are surrounding Govardhan. And we can just remember and invoke their presence in our whatever water that we try to use for bathing.
Yes, Prabhu, you have taken bath in all the rivers except Sindhu, because Sindhu is in Pakistan, na?
Yeah.
Gange, Yamuna, Chaiva, Godavari, Saraswati, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri, all the places we have visited.
Correct. So if we can invite, we can request, we can beg, we can invoke the presence of their waters so that we are purified. So in that way we can take bath. Remembrance also has the potency, because that just by remembering them, it's not different. So that is one way we can take bath. And also we are taking bath by chanting holy names. Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that the holy name is a complete bath. Sarvatmana Snapanam. Snapanam means giving bath. To whom? Chitta. Our consciousness is bathed, completely bathed. Sarvatmana Snapanam Param. It is bathed by the Sankirtan movement, the Sankirtana, Lord Shri Krishna Sankirtan. So this is also one of the most important aspects internally, especially every day. We bathe our consciousness by chanting holy names. That is the most important aspect. Of course, these are also important. That can also have the place, visiting dhams, taking baths and kunds. But the summit of bhakti, as mentioned by many acharyas, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, Taramadde Sarvasreshta Nama Sankirtan. So, out of all the 9 limbs of devotional service, chanting holy names is the topmost process, topmost method. So we bathe our consciousness with the holy names. Chanting holy names, we have seen how much it's essential to our life in previous verses. So by bathing our consciousness every day with the holy names, bathing means we give attention to the holy name, we hear the holy name, we try to be in the mood of servant. My dear Lord Krishna, I have forgotten you from millions of lifetimes. I am your eternal servant, but somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of material birth and death. Please pick me up and engage me at your lotus feet. So these are all different moods and consciousness also we try to bring in or cultivate or try to invoke while chanting holy names. So in that way, we are bathing our consciousness. So otherwise, we may be taking bath, but we are not purified, or we may not be utilizing the full potency of the holy names. Yeah, we should say like that. We are unable to fully utilize or fully manifest the mercy of the holy name in our lives. So we need to give some importance to reforming or chanting holy names by taking some aids, either by introspection, either by taking help of some books or some superior guidance. We need to take some steps to improve in chanting holy names, so that we are bathed. We are every day we take a full effective bath in the holy names. Okay, these are some points about chanting holy names and taking bath externally and internally, and getting purified, so that our innate love that is there in everyone's heart, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Satyakavanai, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Kariyodai. So the what is there lying in the heart will come up. But for that, we need to intensify our sadhana. Just like if you have a ghee in a glass, and we pour milk on the ghee. Just like if you are taking milk with ghee, if you put ghee first and then pour the milk on top of that. So because milk is hot, the ghee will not stay at the down. The ghee has to float. That is the nature of ghee. The ghee will not remain at the bottom of any liquid, hot liquid. It will float to the top automatically, because there's a very hot liquid, milk or any other liquid that you are pouring on, it automatically comes on top. So the hotter the milk, the faster the ghee floats, melts and floats. So the hotter the milk, the ghee melts and floats on the top of the glass. Similarly, in our heart, the ghee is there in terms of pure love. But how much intense, how much it's hotter, our sadhana intensity that brings out the dormant love that we have in everyone's heart. So by practicing every day sincerely and seriously, we will definitely try to come near stages of higher levels, what is spoken here in these later sections of Nectar of Instruction. So we continue our discussion about this. Prabhupada wrote very short purport, but definitely glorifying the Radha Kund and Radharani. Let us see some points on this one. So this verse is mostly the combination of both spoken places and devotees. Topmost places is Govardhan and Radha Kund, and topmost devotees are Radharani. And the Kund is belong to her, so the glory of Radha Kund is spoken very, very specifically. Just taking one's bath in that, we will achieve the perfection. Okay. Now Prabhupada starts with the question: why is Radha Kund so exalted? Please read some devotees. Those who didn't read yesterday, they can continue today.
Why? So yes, Ruji, I'll read. Why
Please.
is Radha Kund so exalted? The lake is so exalted because it belongs to Srimati Radharani, who is the most beloved object of Sri Krishna. Among all the gopis, she is the most beloved. Similarly, her lake, Sri Radha Kund, is also described by great sages as the lake that is as dear to Krishna as Radha herself. Indeed, Krishna's love for Radha Kund and for Srimati Radharani is the same in all respects. Radha Kund is very rarely attained, even by great personalities fully engaged in devotional service, not to speak of ordinary devotees who are only engaged in the practice of Vedi Bhakti.
Yeah. So here the point is Radha Kund is very rarely attained, even by great personalities fully engaged in devotional service. What is meant by attainment? Radhakund is attained. Radhakund is near Vrindavan, Mathura. We just go there and we take bath. How much it may hardly cost the train ticket, going there, auto and some other, maybe hardly 1,000 rupees, 1,500 rupees it can take. But rarely attained is entirely a deep understanding by even great personalities. That means the results are not even achieved by great personalities. So that is the main point. The results, what we are supposed to, or what is expected, one may not be attained just by doing on our own. That's what when we rarely attained by even great personalities. What to speak of ordinary devotees who are engaged in Vaidhi Bhakti. So that's how the rarity is explained here. But the great personalities are unable to fully receive the mercy of Radhakund. I think here, I think nobody is mentioned here. Great sages described great sages. Radhakund is very rare, attained by even by great devotees written. Okay. Names are not written for the great devotees, but great devotees is mentioned here. Okay. Yeah, so the point of the verse also Prabhupada also explains. It's not just by our own endeavors we can attain. Even great personalities, those who are advanced in devotion, because it is contrasted with Vaidhi Bhaktis or Vaidhi Bhakti people, devotees who are practicing. That means great personalities means so opposite of Vaidhi Bhaktis. Basically, there's those who are advanced in devotion also. They may not also achieve or receive. We cannot achieve, but we can. They are unable to receive the mercy of the Radhakund. Yeah, that's it. But it's only by the mercy of Radharani, by mercy of the Krishna, one can receive the mercy of the holy dhams. That is the point. Continue.
The glory of taking bath. It is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love of Krishna in the wake of the gopis. If he once takes a bath in Radha Kund, Srila Rupa Goswami recommends that even if one cannot live permanently on the banks of Radha Kund, he should at least take a bath in the lake as many times as possible. This is the most important item in the execution of devotional service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in this connection that Sri Radha Kund is the most select place for those interested in advancing the devotional service in the wake of the lady friend Sakhis and confidential serving maids Manjaris or Srimati Radharani. Living entities who are eager to return home to the transcendental kingdom of God, Golok Vrindavan, by means of attaining the spiritual bodies, Siddha Deha, should live at Radha Kund, take shelter of the confidential serving.
Hare Krishna. I think she
Now
lost
it's
the connection.
audible, bro. Yeah, in between we lost you.
Okay. Confidential serving maids of Sri Radha and under their direction engage constantly in her service. This is the most exalted method for those engaged in devotion service under the protection of Sri Mahaprabhu. Though it appears that Prabhupada is very much for taking bath in lake as many times as possible. And even is saying that one can, even if one cannot live permanently there. So this is more of a glorifying the potency of the waters.
Staying in Vrindavan also prohibited permanently, who are not of Vrindavan, who are not Vrindavan Vasis. Is it so?
No, it depends on that's what the conditions we discussed. So whoever it may be, if you want to achieve the results, if you want to not achieve it, if you want to receive the results from bathing in Radhakund, one should have proper consciousness, one should have proper respect, reverence, understanding of the value of Radhakund. So that is very much essential.
Because if you are not in good conscience, it will be a downfall of your spiritual progress.
Yeah, any offense, any kind of contamination, any kind of material desires will sure shot that they will be going down in spiritual life. So that's why whether you are a permanent Vrajavasi or you are going to visit the Dham, it's most important is that what is our consciousness in approaching that. So that's what we receive the mercy according to our consciousness. Daily there are many Babajis are living in Radhakund. We will read what Bhakti Thakur Maharaj said on this point. We are coming to that point in the end. So in short, whoever it may be, one has to be very, very consciously take approach these holy waters. So that's the main point. But Prabhupada, though it appears that he is recommending that if one is not, Prabhupada Swami recommends what Prabhupada also mentions here. Even if one is unable to live permanently, if he can take bath, he should. He say he should take bath at least. Take a bath in the lake as many times as possible.
So next month we are going to Rundan Prabhu for that 75th Vyas Puja of Param Puja Lokman Swami Maharaj.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what, as I mentioned, with all due respects and permissions, and after hearing the glories of Radhakund and bathing, without any frivolous nature, without any disrespectful or playful nature, we take bath, we don't play in the waters. So, but the results has to be shown in terms of our increasing intensity, increasing in our service, increasing in our attachment to all kinds of activities that we are doing for Prabhupada and mission, and also in our sadhana. So these are all need to be seen also, not just taking bath. And the results also need to be seen in our life. Yeah, if we are actually taken bath means we need to see the results in terms of internally solidifying our sadhana. That means we are reducing our bodily necessities, needs, our bodily demands, and we are externally also we are trying to extend towards the serving the mission of Srila Prabhupada. So these things also has to manifest. If one is regularly taking bath in the holy waters. Okay, so Prabhupada is here mentioning, but we have seen the mood and what Prabhupada's approach towards this aspect of taking bath we have seen already, and also we will see some more aspects by Bhakti Thakur. And Prabhupada only mentioning when he was giving a lecture. So apart from that, yeah, the highest exalted results definitely are there. I think this was one pastime of when Narada Muni or Lord Shiva, I think Lord Shiva wanted to participate in Rasalila. He wanted to become a gopi. So for that, he was recommended to take bath in a Kusum Sarovar. So there he took bath, he became a gopi. But after going to Rasalila, unfortunately there he was stopped. The gatekeepers, the guards of the Rasalila, they said, who is new gopi came today with snake in the neck? Though Lord Shiva became a gopi, but the snake was like same. So that's how Lord Shiva also was eager to participate in Krishna's pastime. So the potency of bath is, I'm just trying to remember that one. It was Kusum Sarovar. That pastime happened, where Narada Muni also and the Lord Shiva also became gopis to participate in the divine dancing of the Supreme Lord. So the potency is there, but we need to be Definitely is the verse itself saying, though it's very difficult to exalt the devotees, but it means it's very rarely given and it has to be approached very consciously. So here, yeah, of course, the further advancements are explained by Prabhupada. Those who are eager to go back home and want to develop their Siddha Deha, Swarupa, they have to do bhajan, they have to do service. Engage under their guidance, direction, engage constantly in our service. So on the platform of Radhakund, as we discussed last time, Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur gave an instruction to Prabhupada. He didn't give Prabhupada the instruction that you reside here and take bath every day. No, he didn't say like that. Nor he did like that. Nor Bhaktivinoda Thakur did like that. They also know the glories of Radhakund. They also know the potency of the holy dham. But they didn't recommend or they didn't did themselves. Definitely they encourage to visit holy dhams sometimes and take the inspiration by hearing from the great souls, not just by going to dham. Dham is revealed by the spiritual master. The great souls, the exalted acharyas, they themselves showed how we need to approach the holy dhams. So Prabhupada was given instruction, whenever you get money, print books. So don't fight for properties and all, but whenever you get money, print books. That means to write books, to distribute books, print books and distribute them for the masses in general, and to spread the glory of the holy name, spread the glory of holy dham. That was the instruction given on the Radhakund. So, because these are all very, very exalted situations or consciousness, if that needs to be residing there. So we will see what Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur is saying in this connection on Radhakund. Continue. Some other devotees.
Prabhuji, I'll do one more point.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur on Radha Kund. In this connection, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that even great sages and great devotees like Narada and Sanaka do not get any opportunity to come to Radha Kund to take their baths. What then to speak of ordinary devotees? If by great fortune one gets an opportunity to come to Radha Kund and bathe even once, he can develop his transcendental love for Krishna exactly as the gopis did. It is also recommended that one should live on the banks of Radha Kund and should be absorbed in the loving service of the Lord. One should bathe there regularly and give up all material conceptions, taking shelter of Sri Radha and her assistant gopis. If one is thus constantly engaged during his lifetime, after giving up the body, he will return back to Godhead to serve Sri Radha in the same way as he contemplated during his life on the banks of Sri Radha Kund.
Yeah.
Conclusion.
Yeah, we will just see some points on this one. What Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, what Prabhupada mentioned. I'll just show one clip of the lecture. So Prabhupada recommended one should bathe or one should take shelter there serving if one is thus constantly engaged during his lifetime after giving up the body. One will definitely go back home, back to Godhead and assisting Krishna. Generally, our consciousness is everyone in this world. We want to be with people who are on top, who are on very great, right? Because that's the nature of living entity, to be with someone who is great. You want to be with people want to be with the great film stars or sports stars. They want to take selfies and they want to keep them, show them to people. So because that's the nature to be glorified. We are with top people. I know top people. So the mood here is not that I want to become a gopi, I want to become a gopa next to Krishna. No, the mood of devotee is to selflessly serve. If Krishna asks you, if Krishna asks me, okay, you become a blade of grass in Vrindavan, every day we will run on you. Every day all the calls run on you. Are you okay? Are you ready? If you ask me, I have to think twice. In the conditioned stage, we have to think twice. Or we may not even agree also. How can I become a blade of grass and everybody is running on me? It's not possible. So if that is our consciousness, then it's not the Vrindavan or a spiritual consciousness. In Vrindavan, everything is trying to please the Lord. The trees, the flowers, the waters, the birds, all the Vrindavan. Vrindavan is also, everything is conscious. And everyone is trying to please the Lord. The rocks, the Govardhan. So all the residents of Vrindavan, all the other things of Vrindavan, all the forests, all the trees, everything is conscious, and they are all trying to please Krishna. They are trying to help in Krishna's pastimes, various pastimes. So first we need to focus on our consciousness to bring to that level where we are. The 6 Shastram, 8 verse is speaking. Whatever situation I am trying to please my dear Lord. So for that we start with at least 3rd verse of 6 Shastrakam. Pranadapi sunechena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtanija sadahari. From there we start slowly we come to the last verses where we actually experience genuine spiritual advancement, not just some imaginary. What Prabhupada wrote the first few lines of 3rd verse, spiritual advancement or spiritual activity is not just imagination or speculative ecstasy or speculative imagination or some ecstasy, imaginative ecstasy, as Prabhupada writes. And I think Utsahat Nisya Dhairyat, the first few lines Prabhupada writes, is an activity. Spiritual life means activity. It's not just imagination or just a mental speculation. So that's the essence of the gopis also, the mood that we have seen last time also. The mood of the gopis, the mood of Vrindavan Vasis is always selflessly serve to please Krishna in all the circumstances, whatever the circumstances may be. So that is the basis, that is the mood, that is the consciousness. When we come to that consciousness, then wherever Krishna keeps, whatever Krishna likes, I am ready to serve. So when we come to that level of consciousness, Krishna will definitely engage whatever we are meant for, whether it be a gopi, whether it be a gopa, whether it be a cow, it's a calf, the bird, or a rock, some water, or some platform to sit on, whatever Krishna likes. So that's some point on this one. And Prabhupada mentioning in one of his lectures, let us see some light on this one. What Prabhupada is mentioning about Radha Kund. Okay. Please read. Yeah, please read some.
Krishna, shall I read?
Yeah.
Therefore, those who are sages, they simply go to the pastimes of Lord Krishna with gopis. Other things, oh no, this is not Krishna's pastime. That is not Krishna's pastime. That is they differentiate the absolute activities of absolute. That is called Sahaja. The Sahajas will never read Bhagavad Gita, will never read it because they have been elevated to the mellows of conjugal.
Yeah, here Sahajas are mentioned. There is one sect called Sahajas, and another side is Mayavadis. Sahajas, in the sense that they are only interested in pastimes, as Prabhupada himself mentioned. Directly, not only other pastimes, but directly pastimes of intimate pastimes of Krishna and Gopis and Radharani. And they don't want to hear any philosophy, tattva, like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam also many times. They avoid Hey, why we have to read all these things? We have already on the platform of love. Sorry. So Leela minus Tattva. The only Leela without Tattva is Sahajism. Tattva without Leela is Mayavadism. Only Tattva. Don't speak about any Leelas. They are all mundane. They are all they are not spiritual. They are material in nature. They are illusion. That's what they think. So Tattva minus Leela is Mayavadism. So we need both. We need to understand Gita, we need to understand Bhagavatam, and we need to slowly understand the intimate. Thereby, we may get qualification to understand the intimate pastimes. Continue, Prabhu.
Therefore, they have no interest in Bhagavad Gita. They say, or when you discuss Srimad Bhagavatam on the philosophy point, Janmadi Asya Yataha, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, they also do not attend. If we discuss on the philosophy of Upanishad and Vedanta, they will not attend. I have seen it. In Radhakunda, sometimes in 1934, my Guru Maharaj was living and he was discussing Upanishad. He was discussing Upanishad regularly. And Babaji, there are many Babajis in Radhakunda. First of all, they came and that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has come, such a learned scholar and the establisher of Gaudiya Matha. So out of curiosity, they came. And when they saw that he was discussing Upanishad, they gradually stopped coming. So my Guru Maharaj recommended that those people living are not living in Radhakunda. They are living in Narakakunda. I have heard it personally. Hare Krishna. Actually, yes. This it's a reference based Srimad Bhagavatam 6.3.20 to 23, February 14,
Yeah.
Gorakhpur. So,
So,
actually, Bhakti Thakur says one more thing. Those who directly read Vrindavan Leela without understanding the what is Kurukshetra Leela, they must understand first the Kurukshetra Leela, then only the Vrindavan Leela.
yeah, good point. So Kurukshetra Lila is mainly about philosophy in terms of understanding what is Tattva of Krishna, about Krishna, of what Krishna spoke in Gita. Otherwise, we may take it very cheap. So without proper understanding of Krishna, we may take very cheap the activities of Krishna. That's why Tattva establishes that the Krishna's position. Then we can understand his disposition. So without understanding his position, actual position, we will surely misunderstand his disposition towards Gopas, towards Gopis, towards different Leelas. That's what even Brahmaji was bewildered. Just to show us who can all be bewildered by his activities, his dispositions. So that gives importance, that gives emphasis how we need to understand Krishna's position. That's why Prabhupada always mentions that we read 9 cantos first very thoroughly and then approach 10th canto. Otherwise, directly approaching 10th canto, we will be mistaken, or we will be bewildered, we will be misguided. Oh, Krishna is also some ordinary boy, just playing some ordinary plays, and he is mixing with other girls, young girls, etc. That was point. We need to understand Tattva first of all. And even if one is trying to imagine that he is advanced, just like Prabhupada mentioning here, there were many Babajis residing there. They were not interested in hearing the different philosophies, kathas by Bhakti Thakur. So everybody thought he will speak on Rasa Leela, he will speak on Krishna's Leela. So they went on hearing, but Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur spoke mainly on Upanishad, mainly on Srimad Bhagavatam, first verse, first canto, first verse, first chapter. Janma Adyasya Yataha Anvayat, Itratos Chap, Vignesu Swarat. So these are all very philosophical topics. First chapter, at least the first verse. So they were very much uninterested in all these things. So then Bhakti Thakur mentioned that they are not living in Radhakund, they are living in Narakund. So last time also we have seen Raghunath Das Goswami was saying about Radhakunda is like a monster with a big gaping monster, and Govardhan is like a python without the association of Rupa and Sanatan. So we need a very solid guidance from superiors and direction and blessings of the superiors to at, to at least staying in Vrindavan, staying in Radhakund, and practicing bhajan, practicing sadhana, seva. So these are all need to be very careful if one is trying to sincerely and seriously advance in bhakti. That's why knowing the Prabhupada knowing the actual advancement, how to make. So he mentioned no need to go anywhere, just stay wherever you are, whichever temple you belong to. Try to chant 16 rounds very attentively without offenses, and try to follow 4 regulative principles and do whatever service is given or whatever service is to your liking. And then that gives a wonderful advancement. And definitely in between, for inspiration, sometimes we go and take shelter of dhams, we hear, we take inspiration, and we again come back. So that is the natural growth of a devotee in devotional service by doing all these activities. So in that way, we advance in spiritual life very swiftly. Otherwise, definitely you might have heard many devotees, they thought we are very advanced, we don't need all these rules and regulations. We will go and stay in Radhakund and we will do bhajan, chant all the day, chant themselves all the day like Haridas Thakur, or read all the pastimes written by Goswamis about Radha Krishna, Ashtakaliya Leelas. Many were doing that, but time showed that these are all not the actual practices, because they left after some years the place and left even Krishna consciousness, many of them. What to speak of leaving Radhakund. So it's not just mental imagination, the spiritual advancement. So we need to be a little careful, and we need to be genuine and sincere and follow the process that is given. We will surely advance in one way. Okay. Please read the conclusion, bro.
Conclusion, the conclusion is that to live on the banks of the Radhakunda and to bake their daily constitute the highest perfection of devotion service. It's a difficult position to attain even for great sages and devotee like Narada. Therefore, there is no limit to the glory of Sri Radhakunda. By serving Radhakunda, one can get an opportunity to become an assistant of Srimad Radharani under the eternal guidance of the gopis. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that is the benediction. But Prabhupada definitely wrote purport in the text of how the glorious nature of Radhakund, the potency of Radhakund, just to give us a glimpse how potent it is, how glorious it is. But that is not a genuine general recommendation for anyone and everyone. If it was the strong recommendation of Prabhupada to all of us, all of his disciples, then why he put restrictions on even taking bath? He didn't ban, as I said, he didn't ban, but he put a lot of restrictions. Even staying in Radhakund, we have seen so many anecdotes on that. And also why he himself did not stay and took bath every day. He could have done that. Even while staying in Vrindavan, he was not just every day just be staying in Radhakund and taking bath and doing all the activities like Babaji's. No, he was focused on his spiritual master instruction. Staying in Damodar, daily writing books, translating them, going to Delhi, buying paper, carrying paper without any breakfast, dealing with printers, printing them, proofreading them, editing them, again printing the final prints, taking them to all major bookstores, trying to distribute them to many people. So that's what he was doing. He was not just staying in Radhakund and taking bath every day. Though he wrote here, but what he followed is different. So that's what we need to see, what exactly acharyas followed in their lives. Definitely he might have visited Radhakund and taken bath sometimes, which is not known to us. But the major aspects what he was doing is what spiritual master told him or instructed him to do. So he was carrying out instructions. Major part is he was traveling to Delhi and printing and distributing, trying to translate, trying to meet people, make them understand about Krishna. These are all activities in Vrindavan. Around 6-7 years, Prabhupada stayed in Damodar after sannyas. But he was meditating on how to execute my spiritual master instruction. He was preparing to go to Western countries. He was planning and preparing. He was meditating on that. When I will go, how to go. So he was, though here is recommending to come to Vrindavan, stay in Govardhan, stay at Radhakund and take bath every day. That's what he's writing here. But he himself came out of Vrindavan, went far from Vrindavan, and staying in a place which were even difficult to stay right now. So those places he stayed and he distributed the mood of Vrindavan. So one may be taken out of Vrindavan. A devotee may be taken out of Vrindavan, but Vrindavan cannot be taken out of his heart. That's what Prabhupada also mentioned. I'm not staying in New York, or I'm not staying in Los Angeles. I'm always staying in Vaikuntha and Vrindavan. That is also a consciousness, the place where we reside. So he spread the glories of Vrindavan. He spread the glories of Radhakund to all over the world. So that is the mood of Acharyas. So this is the main import that is the glory of Vrindavan, glory of Radhakund, the potency of the places that Prabhupada is indicating here by mentioning the various aspects. So one is recommended by advanced devotees and spiritual masters, then one can definitely do that, staying in Radhakund and also staying in means for the service, for serving the spiritual master instruction. Staying is not just for my own sense gratification there, but staying for the pleasure of spiritual master, to serve the spiritual master. So we cannot take residence on my own desire and planning. Okay, now it's a retiring time. I'll just retire now and I'll go to Radhakund and live my rest of my life. Generally, many of the people in North India do planning to do that, or they may also execute to that, and they may get some result staying in Dham if they are very sincere. But our spiritual advancement mainly comes by following spiritual master's instructions. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado yasya prasadam nagati kutopi. So that is the mood of these verses. But at the same time, we are not at all underestimating the potency, nor we are scaring here to take bath or to go to Holy Dham, etc. We can take advantage, but we need to be conscious and we are careful and conscious while doing that. So these are the beautiful composition of Sri Rupa Goswami Pad on the glories of Vrindavan, Radhakund, the last 3 verses. Now we'll just see the overview of what we have went through from the 11 verses, starting from Sadhana Bhakti to almost Prema Bhakti. So we almost covered by text at least. Word to word we covered by the request of all the devotees. We covered almost every word of the book. Now now it's time to practice. We are practicing, but we need to deepen our practice more and more on these lines. So, mainly the first 4 verses is speaking about, as we have seen, this book is about the sadhana aspect. Sadhya is established by Bhagavad Gita and Nishapanishat. Not very minute in a specific way, but in general way. Definitely Bhakti is spoken in Bhagavad Gita also. But not the exact sadhana, how to do that, what are the things. Krishna spoke Bhakti also in Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, and some other verses in different chapters, nature of Bhakti and all. But what are the favorable things, what are the unfavorable things, how to do it, what are the obstacles. So these are all delineated in NOI and NOD especially. These are more for the sadhana aspects. Okay. So we also learn from a teacher, learn from other students by introspecting ourselves, and by experience we learn the import of the scriptures. That's what we have seen, and Prabhupada preface was really profound. That we are under the direction of Rupa Goswami, and that's what we are concluding also. In the conclusion also we came to the same point, that we need to be under some guidance. Always we are under guidance. Thereby we achieve perfection, practice to perfection. At all levels we are under some guidance. Even after liberation also, even after achieving Swarupa Siddhi or Siddha Deha, we are under direction. Right? There are so many groups to serve Krishna, so many groups are there to plan for the service of Krishna, to please Krishna, Radha and Krishna, different Gopas. They are always planning how to please Krishna. So we are always following under someone, either in the conditioned life or in the liberated life. We need to be under someone. So that is the way of perfection. Servant of the servants of Krishna. Then Prabhupada mentioning about the goal of book by mentioning the 6 following in the footsteps of Goswamis, because they gave Vrindavan, they understood Vrindavan, and they are lived in Vrindavan, and they explained the mood of Vrindavan in their books, and also the process to achieve Vrindavan. So that's why that is a goal. We are always under the shelter of 6 Goswamis and their footsteps. So Goswami, under the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wrote different scriptures under his, as we discussed, Rupa Siksha also yesterday. So under his guidance, under his instruction, Goswami composed many books. Of many books, these are especially primary books, NY and NOD, as Prabhupada also mentioning here. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sikshastakam, 8 verses. Rupa Goswami also gave Pradeshamrit to advance in spiritual life. And both follow almost same kind of theme lines, from starting stages to exalted stages. Cheto Darpan Marjanam, it starts Sikshastakam, ends with Asya Shiva Padaratam, Mother Radharani, glorifying, of course, in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. She is expressing her mood of love, her mood of dedication. What kind of dedication? When it comes to the stages, what is the ultimate crescendo stages of Bhakti? Selfless sacrifice. That's the mood. Whatever it may happen, I am going to serve Krishna. That's it. Whatever may happen in my life. So that's the ultimate stages of Bhakti. So the same mood also Pradeshamrit is mentioning, starting stages to exalted stages of staying in Dham, especially Vrindavan and Govardhan, for the sake of service, for the sake of pleasing Krishna. So that is a mood in both themes, both compositions. Yeah, we have seen how it's the one's first duty is to control mind and senses. We are all trying to struggle in the stages of, yeah, we will see the stages. But these are all beautiful, profound lines from Srila Prabhupada, which has to be noted down and memorized, remembered always. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. So one must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Satoguna, by following instructions of Rupa Swami. Then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. Yes. So this is also a point to understand. So we need to come to Satoguna first of all. Yeah, Satoguna without touch of Rajoguna and Tamoguna, by practicing this principle when we come. Thereby we also cross our mode of goodness, come to the pure platform, where further things here mean at least the last verses he is indicating. The last verses come to the higher stages of love. So that's what he's trying to indicate. Make further progress will be revealed in the heart. Also here we can understand, and we will also read in Nodi, that when we come to the stages of Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, especially Asakti stages, that's where things will be revealed little by little there. And when one comes to the Prema stage, things are fully blossomed, just like a flower blossoms. That's what the analogy is given. We are just trying to understand from theoretical point of view that the stages from Ruchi, at least from Asakti, Bhava and Prema, those are the stages where things are more revealed in the heart. So that's Prabhupada indicating here, the verses. And how to start advancement is Krishna consciousness depends on attitude of the follower. We follow with gratitude, we follow with service attitude. Bhakti Thakur also mentioned that Swayameva Spuratyadaha Atasri Krishna Navadina Bhavet Grahim Indriyai Sevonmukehi Juvado Swayameva Spuratyadaha. When we have that serious, selfless, loving service attitude, that's when things are revealed. So, for that, Prabhupada is recommending and Prabhupada is emphasizing that one should become a perfect Goswami. And every follower, not only some followers, any follower, whether he be a Prabhuji or Mataji or child or Grahastha or Vanaprastha, Sannyasi or Brahmachari, whoever it may be, a follower of the Krishna consciousness should become a perfect Goswami or Goswamini. So that's one very profound words from Prabhupada in the preface. That's what we have seen, that one should follow these instructions very strictly, then it will be easier to make one's spiritual life success. So not by naming, but by taming the senses. That's where we start with. We discussed about beautiful words from Bhagavad Gita. When we start controlling the senses, then we conquer the senses by practicing these principles. The stages we discussed about how 1 to 7 are more of Vaidhi Bhakti, and Raganuga Bhakti is from 8 to 11. Especially the seventh verse is the key verse for sadhaka, where most of the things are happening in the heart by chanting holy names, Vajana Kriya, Anathanivritti, and Nishta. So these things are happening at the stage. Yes, these are the stages classification that we have seen. 1 to 3, do's and don'ts, favorable and unfavorable. That instills the faith in the sadhaka. And then sadhu sangha, by having faith, okay, this process is working, This process is the bona fide process. This process will definitely give me success. So this kind of faith we need to have. Thereby we take seriously the association of the devotees. And also we need to understand how to associate with different devotees and the different exalted Vaishnavas, advanced Vaishnavas. Thereby we progress. And also be careful of what not to do in association. 4, 5, 6 verses speak. 7th is especially about the chanting of the holy names, because that is the primary process for Kali Yuga, where things are really happening. If we are really chanting, things will really happen in the heart, in the consciousness. Just like if you are not struggling, then there may not be very much struggle in the sadhana also. That means there may not be very change in the consciousness. Just like when one is trying to struggling to build body or to keep up health, one may be doing some exercises. It feels not very pleasurable. The changes in the body or the exercises, they take a little more straining, right? But that shows that he is doing something on the body. Otherwise, just sitting in the home and watching TV and watching movies, and nothing is going to happen in the body. There may not be pain, but at the same time, there may not be any growth in terms of strength in the body. So, but one who is working on the body, he will definitely feel a kind of strain in the body, but also it shows that there is a growth in the body internally, strength. So, when we are actually engaging in bhajana kriya and chanting holy names, we will feel some sort of stress, or not kind of a very panic kind of a thing, but definitely he may feel some struggle, because anarthas, when they start coming out, it may not be very pleasurable, the consciousness, the heart. But by that, the very means they are coming out means we are doing something. Just like when we clean the room, which was very dirty from months and months. When we start cleaning the room, it starts becoming very dusty, and all the dust goes in the nose, or it becomes very, eyes are blocked. Maybe troublesome initially, but the very fact that is cleansed means that is coming out, right? So that's the stages of anartha nivritti, and at least before Nishtha, there will be some struggle. There has to be some struggle. That shows that we are putting endeavors, really churning happening in the heart. So then we come to the stages of Nishtha, where things are little, at least we are not too much disturbed or too much agitated by the senses or by the surroundings or by the circumstances or the situations of life or the society or the nation. Things are happening. So they may be there extra on the background, but they will not be disturbing us too much at the stage of Nishtha. So devotee is fixed up, as we have read yesterday also 2-3 verses. Yesterday, did we read here only? Yeah, we read yesterday on Chittam Naiva Nivartate Kshanamapi Sri Krishna Padambujan Nindantu Priya Bandhava Gurujana Grunantu Munchantu Va Durvadam Parigoshayantu Manaja Vamshe Kalankustva. So that these are the little advanced stages where things are happening, where even negative things are happening in our life, but we are focused, we are fixed up in doing our bhakti. So that is at least the stages of Nishtha. And we are going ahead from there by practicing. From there, it's almost quite a little bit easy, at least for practicing a devotional service. Things are definitely will be there, but at the same time, it's little easier. That's from Nishtha, it's compared to where, just like when we are climbing a hill, it's uphill, hill is another nivritti. When we come to a plateau on the top, it's almost like a nishta. And it's said like that. So other side of the hill is that it just you don't need to do anything at all. When you come to the other end, you just cycle comes down, vehicle comes down automatically. But you just control it. Ruchi, Asakti, and Bhavan, Prem, they are very smooth ride. That's what the analogy is given. It appears to be very easy, and definitely it's easy, but only when we reach Nishta stage. So we will definitely reach Nishta stage as we follow the initial rules and regulations very, very cautiously and carefully. So we have seen first verses, Vacho Vegam, Manasukrodha Vegam, Jima Vegam, Dropasta Vegam, Etan Vegan, Yuvishahe Tadira, Sarvam Apna Pradim Shat. So the main point of this verse is, though the feelings are there, even if I'm able to stop the feelings, the urges, I should stop the feeding the urges. So because conditional stage, we have all these feelings because of impurity in the heart and because of the also churning. Churning is happening in the heart, so they may come externally or internally, but we are restraining ourselves. So that will be happen easily when we have some positive things, some positive engagements. So that's the one of the main solutions we have seen, that we always focus on picking up the positive than the suppressing the negative. So that is the easiest and very safest and very tangible way of trying to get away from all these things. But still, because of conditioned nature, sometimes there may be the peaks may come up internally or externally. So we need to be controlling and trying to protect ourselves from those things, which may try to induce us to go off track. So then Prabhupada purport mostly about atonements. We have seen how Parikshit Maharaj, the whole theme was brought out that what is the root of the sin, because here they are trying to control senses. Because of uncontrolled senses, we are trying to commit sinful activities and thereby suffering. But the solution is not just atonement. From the dharmic point of view, tapasya and all these things, definitely they may trim the plants of weeds, but they cannot uproot the roots. So the Krishna consciousness is the only way to uproot all these weeds. That's what Prabhupada's main theme presented here, giving many examples here, many understandings how we need to practice Krishna consciousness in order to uproot the sinful tendency in the heart. The Parikshit Maharaj analogies of elephant bathing a bath is compared to sinning, and Prabhupada's explanation of how we cannot do prayaschitta, atonement, by any other method than Krishna consciousness, developing Krishna consciousness. Then he explains the real atonement of Krishna consciousness. A human being is meant to be trained according to certain principles to revive his original knowledge. The methodical life is described as tapasya. So by doing that, we gradually are elevated. That's what he mentioned, and in summary, he mentioned initially. Then he slowly explained all the different aspects of first verse. Vacho Begam, Manasakrodha Begam. All these things are explained. And each one by one we have seen very elaborately. And what are the senses, what are the Vegas, and how to control them, how to maintain our sincerity in trying to control them. But the main point here in this all this Vegas to control, as Prabhupada in the initial part of the purport mentioned, is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the only ultimate solution. Trying to become conscious of Krishna, trying to divert our attention towards the topics, either by Vacha, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam. All these urges has to be diverted towards spiritual activities. So we have seen all these Vegas, and the main solution Prabhupada always brought out Krishna consciousness either by speaking, or either by hearing, or either by meditating in the different services about different Krishna. All these are all related to Krishna. That is the only solution, which is very tangible. Otherwise, other solutions may not be giving a permanent solution. They may be stopgap solutions, just like silencing ourselves, just like not going to the places where we are disturbed. So these are all temporary solutions, definitely, but that will not root out the root. So only Krishna consciousness practice, by diligently practicing, we can overcome all these urges. If one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind will naturally be controlled. Yeah, this is the mind will always be the center of the senses, as explained here. So that's why we try to focus on remembering Krishna and doing activities for Krishna's pleasure. These are all mentioned in this verse. Jiva Vegam, trying to control the mind. Again, Prabhupada brought out the Krishna's prasadam, taking scheduled times and trying to restrict ourselves to prasadam only. That will definitely conquer the tongue. Taramade Jivati, Rohamaya Sudharmati. That's what Prabhupada explained in these verses. And because the three things are in line, definitely the moment we start controlling the tongue, automatically other systems without any further hesitation. Bhakti Saraswati Thakur's gradations, we have seen that how he categorizes all the urges into three. The urge to Kaya Manasa Vacha we have seen. Kaya by body, Manasa by the mind, demands of the mind, and demands of the body, and demands of the speech. Kaya Manasa Vacha. He gave the categorization, all the urges, 6 urges. So why they are coming up? Because of our identification. The identification with the body, our material identification creates these urges. Yeah, that is the root cause. Prabhupada also in the seventh verse or 8th verse, we have seen that ignorance is the foundation for the false ego. There it mentioned, Prabhupada mentions, ignorance is the foundation, lays the foundation for the false ego. Ignorance means with the material identification. The solution always comes to that we need to practice that we are servant of Krishna. We always try to remember that I am servant of Krishna. I belong to Krishna, and I need to engage in Krishna service and devotees service, trying to please them, trying to please Krishna. So in that way, we automatically overcome all these urges, different levels. So then that's what the main point here of Vegas. Yeah, he is categorization, 3 levels of categorization. One by one, we have seen Virodha Priti, the mind and senses. Speaking Krishna consciousness, acting Krishna consciousness, In that way, we can definitely control the mind and senses, all the senses, by always engaging. And Prabhupada wrote specifically the verse of Prasadam prayers, in the first verse of and why to give us more indication that by consciously chanting, remembering the meaning, and trying to be prayerful mood, we invoke the mercy of the Lord in prasadam. Definitely, we can digest whatever we take as a prasadam, but unless we have proper consciousness, we may not be able to digest the mercy in the prasadam. We may take prasad, we may be able to digest, and we may be able to build the body or strength. But spiritual strength lies in the mercy. And also we have seen Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary that the devotee, one who takes everything as a mercy of the Lord, that is the actual, that's where we actually gain the spiritual strength. Otherwise, we are overeating. That's next verse is coming up. That's what also Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned there. We have seen how we always accept everything in related to the senses as a mercy of the Lord. Whatever Lord gave, whatever Lord gives us, is all mercy of the Lord. In that mood, when devotee accepts whatever is accepting for the need of the senses, either we are taking a hot water bath, either we are taking a wonderful prasadam, either we are having a good facilities and comforts in a home. So we are always taking them as mercy of the Lord. That's the only way we can overcome the atyahar mentality or the mood in which we are trying to utilize them in the service of body, which in turn in the service of Krishna. That's how we are saved from all overindulgences by accepting them as the mercy of the Lord, either the holy remnants or whatever we are trying to take for our sustenance to maintain this body. And whatever we are taking as a mercy of the Lord. That was the main point that was brought out here, and also in the first aspects of atyahar, because it is related here. That's why I'm just trying to recollect. So that is the main mood of a devotee. These are all mercy of the Lord. By mercy of devotee, I have gained all these things, and I try to utilize to maintain this body, sustain this body, so that I am engaged in service of the Lord. So otherwise, we may fall prey to many other demands of the senses. So that is the main point of these verses, to control. And of course, Prabhupada is also recommending here fastings for Janmashtami, fastings for Nirjala Ekadashi coming on 18th. Of course, whatever we can, but it's a recommended way. But the most important thing is we always Krishna conscious. We are always focused on remembering Krishna, trying to be conscious of Krishna in whatever we do. That is the main focus of any upavas or any fasting or any regulative tapasya that we may be doing. That is good. But the main focus has to be remembering and serving Krishna more and more. So these are some points of the first two verses. The second verse also on the same points almost. Atyahar prayasas vijal puniyamagraha. So we are accepting as the mercy of the Lord whatever we gain in our life. Thereby we don't do atyahar, and we are satisfied with whatever Lord is giving in our life. Therefore, we don't do prayas. Or when we come to know prayas, so we have seen that when it is disturbing our spiritual life, especially our chanting, in long term, 1 or 2 days, or sometime some phases of life, it may be okay. But it should not happen that day in and day out we are in a panic zone for life to maintain the life. So then it's more going towards prayas. And prajalpani magraha, controlling the tongue. Janasanga laulyam, Shastri Bhakti Vinashati. These are all 6 things that destroy. Destroy in the sense they are obstacles to our bhakti. So Prabhupada's lines are very profound. Their human life is meant for plain living and high thinking. That is the basic principle that we keep in our life for trying to control all these things which are unfavorable for bhakti. Everything can be controlled by just by following these principles. What Prabhupada is mentioning here, plain living, high thinking. Definitely, principles are mentioned here. How to practice in life, how they are come down on a practical platform, each case to case. I mean, in each one of our lives, that we need to consult with superiors and sit down and jot down things which are very practical for our lives. That we need to be we have to jot down with the consultation of superiors. Otherwise, principles will remain as principles only. They may not be transforming to in our life. That we have to take some steps, as we also seen some question answers. But because we are also trying to practice bhakti and trying to advance. But when we consult those who are already practiced, those who are still practicing, but they have very mature in the spiritual life, we consult them, we request them, so that we are all planning to jot down some practical points in our life to apply how these things can be done. So tomorrow I think we will see the question answer, the OBA question answers. There I think 2 personal questions are asked. Tomorrow we'll discuss. I think they are also in the same lines. How we are going to practically apply all the Vegas, how we are trying to control. So there we will just tomorrow we may spend some time on trying to understand those aspects. But yeah, we need to jot down on a personal level how it applies to our lives, all these aspects. That's where we start growing in spiritual life. When we start taking some inventory and jotting down some improvements and working on those improvements. The small steps. May not be a big steps like Hanuman jumping from one to one other end to ocean of the other end. It is so he can only do that. We are all babies. You need to walk baby steps initially. So we take some small steps to walk ahead in our spiritual life. So then Prabhupada explained the philosophy behind why we are all doing all those atyahar, prajalpa, nimagraha, all these things, and also which are forcing us in different vegas, which are resulting in different vegas, as because we are just caught up in the Bahiranga Shakti. But we have the choice as the marginal energy. That is a fact we need to understand. We are marginal energy. We have the choice. Accepting that principle is the main thing. I have a choice to be under Antaranga Shakti or under Bahiranga Shakti. Though sometimes we feel that we are pushed and we are forced by Bahiranga Shakti, the Maya Shakti externally, but we still have free will and choice. That we need to be convinced about, and that we need to be exercised to place ourselves under Antaranga Shakti by practicing Bhakti Yoga. So that's why Bhakti Yoga is considered as the internal potency of the Lord. All the Bhakti elements are the internal potency. So by keeping ourselves under internal potency, we become Mahatmas. We are trying to come close towards Mahatma position, not becoming Duratmas, as Prabhupada mentioning here. So Mahatma and Duratma is explained here, the concept of Mahatma and Duratma. just to give us indication where we need to direct our energies, time and energies, so that we can come out of all these six anarthas, six faults. Chaya Vega Domi, Chaya Dosha Shodhi, Chaya Dosh, six faults. These are the main points that we have seen because we are identifying too much with the body, too much with the material circumstances. And there are definitely, as we mentioned also, discussions. We need some things to sustain our life, our families. We need to work, and we also need some savings, definitely. But it has to be under guidance that we are not going too far in terms of atyahar and prayas and trying to spend our time and energy, which is very, very rare and special for human life, that which has to be utilized in spiritual practices, and thereby we perfect our life. So we need to be under guidance, taking help of the superiors to understand the thin line between prayas and the needs, need and the greed as a very thin lines. What I need, what is the greed. So that's why Prabhupada is emphasizing here that human life is very, very sacred and essential, and it's valuable for high self-realization and God realization. So we don't try to spend in all kinds of activities which are not favorable for bhakti. All these prayas, atyahar prayas, prajalpa, niyama, agraha, janasanga. Yeah. Yeah. This is also a very good point that if our endeavor is not to inquire about the absolute truth, we will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. A spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane endeavor. Yes, these are all points to we need to. Again, we need to go through the content slowly. Now we have taken the meal, just like cow takes the meal, not the meal, it takes grass. So, but the cow, after sitting down, after taking inside, it ruminates, takes things out again, it ruminates, then it transforms into milk. That is the beauty of the cow. It has two bags in the belly. When it takes first, then it fills one belly. From there, it brings out to mouth again. Again, it keeps on ruminating on that. Then it goes to another belly, where it transforms. It transforms into milk later on. So that's how we also need to slowly. You are doing Bhakti Shastri now, and as we get time, we try to spend taking out particular themes or particular points. We try to meditate on them. We try to contemplate, jot down some points, try to implement them one by one, so that we can transform these principles into practice. Thereby, we realize the import in our lives. These are all some points Prabhupada mentioned, and also Prabhupada time to time, especially in NOI, many times Prabhupada brought out the ISKCON as a movement, what it is doing, what it is meant to, and what is supposed to. So in many places it came, the purpose of ISKCON, the purpose of movement. So Prabhupada is practically written for the devotees. The book is meant for those who are came to the level of chanting 16 rounds and spent some time in the movement and trying to advance seriously. So for them, it's a very practical book, and he brought out many things which are need to be done in society. So many people are interested in this. We are trying to awaken the dark and dormant Krishna consciousness. ISKCON is meant for that. With the commentary also we have seen. Of course, some aspects are also spoken, just like Karmis and Gyanis mentality, especially in the first 2 3 verses. Though they are speaking about the Karmis and Gyanis, so as we mentioned, discussed also, that we need to be careful about the mentalities in us. Karmi mentality is about enjoying mentality. Jnani mentality is about Falgu Vairagya, false renunciation, giving up things, though they can be used in Krishna service. Though I may have some capacity to work or capacity to do some render some service, I feel that wow, it's all material. Let me give up. But this is all we need to. That's why we need to under consultation. We need to do anything. One devotee was sharing in the Bhagavatam class. I think it was Tulsi Prabhu. This Tulsi Prabhu. He had a one counseling, or he was consulted by one person, devotee. I don't know whether he's counselor or he was approached by one devotee that he was very good in business. He was almost practically earning a very good amount in a year, maybe in crores. So he asked, he came to his Tulsi Prabhu and asked, I think I'm very much attracted to the movement. I think now it's time to I give up my business and join ashram. So then Tulsi Prabhu was sharing this in Bhagavatam class. He said, see, your propensity is to earn because you are Krishna specially endowed you with a special ability to earn. So if you are giving up this and joining, then it may not be very conducive later on to your psychological and life, psychophysical nature. So better see anyway, movement needs a lot of support from many devotees. So you do whatever you are doing, but at the same time, engage whatever you can in Krishna service. So that's where individual case to case encouragement or direction is needed. So one is properly situated in his life. At the same time, he is trying to contribute to the society also at different levels. So I cannot artificially give up everything, and one can do what he wants to do. That may not be a proper activity, and it may not yield also proper results. So in the case of 6 Goswamis also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told them, you wait, don't do some market vairag, false renunciation, just like monkeys. Time will come. So that's what they also waited for the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later on, they give up. And when they gave up, as we discussed also, they distributed whatever they have. So that's where we need to keep on taking the guidance and directions from others, especially superiors and mature devotees. That's how we need to follow all the rules and regulations in our bhakti. Thereby we overcome all these anadhas. Uh, yeah. So the right understanding leads to right endeavor. Krishna conscious devotees know very well that this material world is designed by the complete arrangement of the Lord to fulfill all the necessities of life for all living beings without their having to encroach upon the life or rights of one another. So the more we come towards Krishna's consciousness, understandings, then our endeavors are in right direction. So by every day or frequently reading, so very recommended is everyday reading kind of a thing. We read and we try to understand, then our endeavors are in right direction. Otherwise, our endeavors may take a deviation from the actual understandings of scriptures. Thereby, our endeavor may not yield the good results or even the best results. So in that way, we try to control the senses. We try to control the urges. and try to avoid the faults. But the main point is focus on positive things. Utsaha, Nisyaya, Dhairya, these are the main positive things that we need to take up in our life. The more we focus on these things, the more other things will be automatically reduced. Utsaha, Nisyaya, Dhairya, Tat Karma Pravartana, Sangatya, Vasto, Vritti, Shadvi, Bhakti, Prasthiti. These 6 things we have seen. Utsaha, we maintain our enthusiasm, we maintain our patience, we maintain our determination. All these 3 things go hand in hand. I think these are the first few lines Prabhupada is very much saying about bhakti process. Devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation nor imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. That's the point. Devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Just like last stages of bhakti, we have seen how it is more of a devotional outpour, emotion. But it's not just imaginative ecstasy, it's actual advancement. The higher stages of bhakti, asakti, bhav, and prem, they are more in internal emotions. But at the same time, Prabhupada is mentioning that devotional service or devotional advancement is not only internal, but it's also an external way. Its practical activity is also there. It's not just saying that I have great love towards Krishna. As we discussed many times, the example of mother and child. Right? That's the utsaha. He keeps on maintaining utsaha. And before understanding the utsaha, where to apply utsaha, Prabhupada describes what is actually bhakti. The famous verse from NOD, crucial verse from NOD. He spoke about the Uttama Bhakti. Is the main word, Uttama Bhakti. Uttama Bhakti, how to practice it, how to execute it. So how to execute is spoken in the verse, and what it is spoken by Prabhupada. So these are all things we need to practice Uttama Bhakti. By Utsahat, by Nischayat, by Dhairyat, practicing all these things. So by understanding the rarity of Bhakti, we become more and more enthusiastic to practice, to gain the rarest jewel. If you have something, very precious thing, we endeavor hard, just like everyone is trying to earn money because they know the value of money. Though it's very hard, but still we strive hard to earn money because without that we cannot run, we cannot go, we cannot do anything in this world. That's why it is given importance, and it's for that we take endeavors. We are we are enthusiastic, and for that also we are patient and we are determined. So in the same way, the more we are trying to fix up the goal as a Krishna consciousness, the final goal, the more we are enthusiastic, the more we are determined. Understanding the value of that, then we'll become more enthusiastic. And in meantime, we are confident. At the same time, we maintain the patience to achieve that. Prabhupada gives the example of a new married girl. How one should be patient to get a child. That's Prabhupada uses the example. So similarly, spiritual master is the father, or the spiritual father, or he is compared to husband also. And a disciple is compared to wife. He gives the seed. And by the disciple taking the seed and sowing the heart, he gradually pours the water to the root. And he patiently waits. And by enthusiastically participating in all the activities. So enthusiasm. So Prabhupada was asked, okay, if we don't have enthusiasm, what we should do? We are not feeling very enthusiastic to chant. We are not feeling enthusiasm to practice devotional ceremony. Sometimes, not all the times. So Prabhupada answered, yeah, we may not feel, but at least we act enthusiastically. So by acting enthusiastically, definitely the feelings will surely come. One time, Brahmanand Swami mentioned to Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, I don't feel to offer obeisances because we are born and brought up in such a culture that we don't feel that we need to offer obeisances. I don't feel like that. Prabhupada mentioned, oh, no problem. You keep on acting, you offer obeisances, you will start feeling that. So like that, Prabhupada answered. So by acting, we come to the internal aspects also. The external things will lead to internals also. It's not that just we have, if we don't have internal feelings, we don't act externally. No. So that's how we grow in spiritual life. Utsahat, Nischaya, Dhairyat, Tat Karma Pravartanat. We follow in the footsteps of devotees. By Sangatyagat, by giving up association. And by Satovritti, by following the footsteps of the Acharyas, we progress slowly into practicing bhakti, which are favorable for devotional service. So it's already 5. So let us pause here. So we covered almost around 3 verses. Other verses we will cover maybe mostly in the next session, Saturday. And then we can take up the OBA questions. Mostly next Saturday will be okay for us. Is it okay, Sagar bro? Next Saturday?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, we pause here for the day. Thank you very much for all for participating enthusiastically. Andra, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Upadeshamrit
Jai.
ki jai.
Prabhuji, I am sending you a request on email.
Okay,
So we have proposed to take up the closed book examination and the open book. So closed book on Saturday, 6th July, and open book can be submitted by 7th of July. And on the following Saturday, 13th of July, we can take Shloka test because all of us are working. Otherwise, we would have taken it on the weekday. But we'll take on 13th of July at a convenient time. So I assume you will be taking the Shloka test or
I'll check with our Chiran Prasad Prabhu.
okay,
I'll
fine.
just talk to him.
Sure,
But
you can
definitely,
let me know.
I think BVRV, you can talk to him otherwise. You can
To
talk
whom?
to him about, you can talk to Chiran Prasad Prabhu.
Okay, fine.
But BVRV generally conducts the closed book exam.
Yeah. So they
Uh,
conduct that, but then they'll have to be informed, and I'll also share the batch attendance for this NOI because
okay,
they need that attendance for the marks also.
correct. Because he is keeping the progress, Chitan Prasad Prabhu. So you just check
Sure.
with him. If he mentions to me, I will definitely help him in terms of conducting, etc. Other things.
Okay, fine. I'll talk
Yes,
to him.
yes. So 22nd Saturday. So we
Yeah,
will
the next.
meet next Saturday,
Yeah,
22nd.
yeah.
So we will meet and we will try to see the overview and some OBA questions.
Sure, Prabhuji. Meanwhile, just wanted to know, like, do we have the same inventory of closed book questions that we have for like that those are there in that student manual, the 4th edition that I have, or
Yeah. Otherwise, you can just check once again. You can take the version. I think that's the same version what you mentioned.
yeah,
You
okay,
can take from Chetan Prasad Prabhu
sure,
the version.
okay.
Yes.
I'll talk to him on all these lines. Fine.
Sure.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
We'll meet
Krishna.
next
Thank
Saturday.
you, Prabhuji. Very good.
We'll-
And
Dandot Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.